So let's start looking at the what criteria as a facilitator. This is the structure you follow. And let's begin with the introduction, part A, which is really where you gain the interest of the learners and gain their motivation to learn. Now, sometimes people are really aware of their need to learn. Hey, there's something out there, I'm not very good at it, or it's something new I need to do. I'm excited to learn. And we call this being consciously incompetent. It means you are aware that you don't know something. And that's a good thing. It's much easier to help a learner learn if they know they need to learn something. But all too common with adult learners, because they already have a lot of experience, they are what we call unconsciously incompetent. In other words, they don't know what they don't know. And so you have to look for techniques to help them become consciously incompetent so that they are in and open to and motivated to learn. Now, over time, after you shift them from the unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence, and as they start learning, they will become what we call consciously competent. They'll be aware of the fact that they are learning, but they still have to really think about it, something new, and they have to really, really concentrate. But over time, they'll become more confident and aware of the skill and really be able to do it unconsciously. And this is the stage we call unconscious competence. So this is the natural stages of learning. These are the natural stages of learning. Unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and then unconscious competence. But let's talk about what you do when you have unconsciously incompetent learners. How do you win them over and get their buy-in and motivation to learn? And basically, there are two techniques you can use. The first is called WIFM, W-I-I-F-M, which stands for What's in It for Me. Remember, adult learners are very goal-oriented. They want to know, what am I going to get out of this? And so explain what's in it for them. And there's some tools you can use to do this. For example, get endorsements from other people who've gone through this. Hey, your business unit head personally attended this class and said it's so valuable that he or she wants you to attend. Or have someone else who has gone through it sing the praises of the class. Here's from 3 people who went through it and found it really useful. In addition to endorsements, you can use data. If there are surveys that we've done about how learning has impacted people, how behavior has changed, share that data. That will help convince some people, hey, this might actually be an effective use of my time. You can also appeal to pride or ego, and this is a little bit of a human psychology thing. But sometimes you've got people who say, well, I know everything already. I don't need to learn it. And you can say, oh, yeah, I know you've got lots of experience. But I bet the other people on this class could really benefit from hearing your experiences. So I know you know this information already, it's fine. But if you could just sit in the class and participate and maybe share your experiences, that'll help others. And while you're stroking their ego, what ends up happening is they're in the class and they may start learning something. So they aren't fighting against you. They're thinking they're there to help teach too. And finally, you can conduct an activity or a quiz. So often we'll have kind of an icebreaker at the beginning where we have people practice a skill, and usually in that practice we discover they're not terribly good at it. So that'll be the opportunity for them to realize, oh, I guess there is something I need to learn here. Now, we need to be careful with how we do this because you don't want to bruise their egos along the way. You just want to gently make them aware that maybe you're not quite as skilled or knowledgeable in this as you think you are. Now, the other way that you can do this to really get an unconsciously incompetent person conscious and open to learning is to offer a solution to their problem. This is basically a sales technique. So begin by asking them whether they are encountering a specific challenge related to the learning outcomes of your program. So let's say maybe this is a negotiation skills class. I might ask, how many of you are finding it difficult to keep margins from reducing when you negotiate a contract renewal with a client? I bet a lot of you have that problem, right? So many of them say, yeah, I've got that problem. That's true. And then you ask, so what's the impact on you? What's the impact of that challenge? And try to quantify it if you can. So back to that negotiation example. So if you're losing 2 or 3 percentage points on your EBIT margins every single time you renew, how much is that affecting your bottom line? I bet it's a lot of money. And again, people say, yeah, it's a lot of money. And then ask them, well, would it be worth fixing this problem if I could give you a solution? Using the negotiation example again, hey, if I could help you learn how to keep your EBIT margins intact when you're renewing your contracts, and maybe even improve those margins, would you be interested? Would that be worth 2 days of your time? People are going to start getting interested and say, yeah, actually, if you could help me with that problem, yeah, I'd like that. That'd be interesting. And then finally, close the deal. Ask them if they're willing to try. So back to that negotiation example. So the program here can do exactly that. It can help solve this problem. Would you be willing to try it and see how it can help you? And so basically you're putting these 4 steps together. Do you face this challenge? How is it impacting you? Would it be worth fixing this challenge? And because this class can help. And if you do that, you are likely to shift people from unconsciously incompetent to consciously incompetent and willing to move forward with the learning. Think about how you're going to apply this during your introduction to gain interest and motivation to learn.